I wanted to address some of the things that typically don't get talked about in the barefoot, minimal, whatever world when we're talking about trying to make that transition into regaining your foot strength and regaining the alignment of your foot. There's plenty of stuff out there about mobilizations of the toes, how you can manipulate your toes to get them straight again, how to get your foot stronger, all that intrinsic foot strengthening. And then there's like just these little tidbits here and there that nobody really gets into, and it plays a huge role because it's things that you should be doing all day long. And that kind of makes like the biggest difference in this whole process. It's those little tiny things that you do throughout the day that they really add up because you're doing them a million times all day long. So the first thing is just pay attention to your toe posture. And most of us probably have acquired some type of like claw toe, mallet, or hammer toe, or whatever, or a bunion. To certain degrees, you're gonna need toe spacers. Most of us need toe spacers. I wear toe spacers and I have like fairly straight toes, but I also have a little bit of like curling of the toes from being in traditional shoes for so many years. So now I'm trying to get them straight again. When I notice that I'm standing with like weight shifted one way or the other, just look down at your feet if you are barefoot and see what are your toes doing, and you'll probably see that they're not splayed, right? So you basically want to try to splay your toes all day long. And I'm aware that that's an impossible task, but the more you think about it in the beginning, the more your brain will eventually just take over and start doing it for you. Think about it and notice it as much as you can now, and that will make a really big change, and it will create an awareness for you of how your feet should be sitting or standing. They shouldn't be curled up, and just doing exercises to straighten them is one thing, but to really get that full strength back and the alignment back, you have to think about it a lot throughout the day. Okay, so the other thing that kind of gets me going is when people buy awesome barefoot shoes, which is great, minimal shoes, natural shoes, whatever you want to call them, and they still wear their regular socks. There's so many like really tight socks out there, especially like PEDs, little tiny socks out there for women, or I guess men too, to slip their feet into those little tiny shoes. Oh my gosh, if you look at your feet, they're like this when they're inside of them. So if you really want to take full advantage, take any advantage of being in that barefoot shoe, you have to let your toes splay. And to be able to do that, you probably have to wear toe socks. And I used to be one of those people too that was like, oh my God, I could never wear toe socks. My feet would go crazy. And really, you have them on for like 5 minutes and you forget about it. It's either that or be barefoot in your shoe. Take your pick. Depends on what kind of climate you live in and how sweaty your feet are. The other thing is, if you are wearing toe spacers, you can put on like a normal sock. But really look at the sock and make sure that it's not one of those like crazy tight, I don't think I even have any anymore, just one of those crazy tight toe box socks. A lot of like good socks now have this on the end, like it's pretty tight around the midfoot, but the heel and the toes are pretty wide. It's definitely not the shape of my foot, but it's better. It's going in the right direction. It still has my toe pulled off at an angle. But just start looking at those things because they make a difference. They still deform our feet. But these are the types of socks that will fit over the toe spacers and allow your foot to then just be a foot. Or, oh yeah, and then here are toe socks. And check out some toe socks like on Amazon or wherever. This is a pretty cheapo one. They have really short toes, but my toes are really short, so they actually fit me. And then this is like the big name in toe socks, Injinji, and they're a little more pricey, but they have so many. See, like the little PEDs for us ladies to slip our feet into whatever shoe you want, little slip-on shoes. They make them as toe socks, so they have you covered in all areas. So that's no excuse. And then the other thing is when you are home, or if you're at work and you're allowed to do this, then be barefoot. it's the best thing for us. It's the best way to get your foot strong. If you're barefoot with your toe spacers, that's even better. You have to start going barefoot though if you want a strong foot. And so I'm at work all day long for 10 hours and I am wearing my minimal natural shoes. But the minute I get home, I'm barefoot, and it makes a huge difference. And especially when you can actually see your foot, you can make that like mind-body connection, brain connected to your foot of what your foot looks like, what it's doing. Just like my IAP videos of like getting used to seeing your core. Get used to seeing your foot, because we are so dissociated from our feet. We can't move our toes anymore, and that's not okay. It's not an okay place to be as a human being. You have to be able to move your toes if you want to be able to function and not have pain all the way up the chain. So get barefoot, look at your foot, see what it can do, try to make it do things better, help it out. It just wants to be your foot. Poor thing. Oh yeah, and people like to complain a lot about when I tell people to go barefoot. My feet get really cold. I have really hard floors. I have saltillo tiles around here. And I have it too. Granted, I have heated floors. But I have hard floors, and your feet adapt, and you're moving. If you're just standing on a tile floor forever, then yeah, your feet are gonna hurt, but your feet would hurt standing on anything forever. So just get used to it. Your feet are supposed to be on the ground. We're not actually supposed to have anything between our foot and the ground. So just get used to being barefoot. Your foot's gonna adapt. It's gonna callus in ways that you didn't know it could callus. It's gonna have some pain, but overall, it's the best thing that you could do for your body. So those are my tips on regaining foot strength and alignment, and I hope they help. And comment, send questions my way, and share this with everyone you can.